Let's talk a little bit about how to use aberrations or alien-style creatures in Dungeons & Dragons. Because what an aberration truly is something that's so old or so different, it doesn't fit necessarily within our way of thinking. So let's jump right on in with it. The first aberration that we really have to look at is the Abboleth. Now, this is what an Abboleth looks like, but overall, I'm not going to go into the stat blocks and how to use it. It's how it works in a campaign. The Aboleth's motivations are so far old and so far out of sync with what we think of as mortals, they may seem odd. We also think about this in terms of old gods. Old gods are after something that don't make sense to us. Now, there's the ludicrous, there's the insanity of like the old god has you go picking around every purple flower it can find. But there's also things to where we don't understand how they work or what they're after. Your world's lore and how the afterlife works and how planes work and how gods work may determine what these old gods or things that are so alien are after. They are after something different. Maybe they consume life, but they need something to die in this plane, be reincarnated in another plane, and they can transition planes to follow their life cycle in order to fully propagate. And they use souls in multiple formats to do that. So therefore, they're trying to kill people here, but then they have a farm set up to collect those souls once they leave. I don't know. Aberrations are alien to our world. They think differently. They operate outside of our own mental capacities and structures. They make amazing bad guys because they will do things that don't seem to make sense. Maybe they even set up a human harvesting farm, taking very good care of their people, but requiring sacrifices in order to sustain themselves because they require human soul energy to reproduce or to stay alive. In turn, looking like a benevolent god, making some people become incredibly well off and making an entire area prosper because the amount of sacrifice they require is so minuscule, it's a cost those people are willing to sacrifice, meaning they actually support that old god. But in reality, that old god is building himself up in order to consume the entire world. They're in a larval state, if you will. There are so many different ways of viewing aberrations that you just have to think outside the box, which is hard for us. As human beings, everyone watching this video, I assume, is a human being. If you're an alien, maybe you can chime in and tell us something abnormal. Or for those of us that are neurodivergent that think differently anyway, we can actually see the world or create something that's so alien that it operates differently. It's on to something else. It's trying to accomplish something different. It's attracted to the different energies of the world for a different reason. When using an aberration, understand it is an alien creature. It is not a demon. It is not a ghost. It is not undead. It is not demonic. It's not elemental. It's not any of those things. It's not even godlike. It is simply different, and so different that it creates something odd. Or maybe it's trying to build something that doesn't make sense to us, and it's trying to attract other aberrations by building those things so it can reproduce. In the end, when you're using your aberrations, think of what their goal is. Most goals of most living creatures fall within three categories: reproduction, survival, flourish, but maybe they need something different. Gods, for example, maybe they need someone to believe in them in order to actually survive. Maybe aberrations need life force nearby they can constantly drain off of. Maybe they are similar to gods, but instead of needing that, they need sacrifices. Or they need people born with bits and pieces of them in them to interconnect them to them. So therefore, they feed bits and pieces of themselves to individuals so they become part of the aberration. Those are little bitty things that you can do to make aberrations speak to your party in a different way. They have a different mentality. And aberrations don't necessarily equal bad immediately. They're simply misunderstood. Usually, maybe you have an aberration that attacks wildly to people that approach it because it's learned to do that. It sees the world very differently. We are more like ants to it than anything else. It doesn't want to get rid of us, but it needs us to go away and leave its product, its production, its thing alone. In the end, the rule that I use with aberrations is they are alien creatures, not aliens from outer space, aliens from another plane, aliens from another dimension, could be aliens from outer space, could be aliens in terms of life forms and thinking. Think old god and Lovecraftian. Maybe they do feed truly on emotions and need people to be afraid. Or maybe they feed on love just as much as they feed on fear, but fear is much easier to produce when you're an aberration. Kind of like Monsters, Inc., if you will. Those would be a great idea of aberrations, things that come in to scare us. Maybe scare us all the way to death if they can. That would be an interesting aberration. It's never there to kill unless it's actually attacked, because it needs you to be alive, to succeed, to thrive, to reproduce, to move on. Aberrations simply think and need something different that doesn't necessarily make sense to our physical world. So I want to know, for aberrations as a whole, what would be ways that you would use them? Don't be specific here, but just how would you have something, what would its need be? As something that's so alien, what would it be attracted to? What would it be trying to accomplish in order to exist in our world? Or why is it here and what is it doing? I want your advice on that. And guys, as always, if you like this channel and you want more, like, subscribe, hit the button, comment below, and stick around for Hero Soul. We've got some interesting stuff that's happening on Hero Soul, always on our Patreon, but it is a free version of D&D. Hero Soul is dear to my heart because I always wanted something that WotC never produced. So I said, I couldn't find it where I wanted to go. I tried lots of other systems. Lots of people came out with amazing things, but now I'm going to make my own. And I want you to be part of it. Join our Patreon. Every free member gets a free copy, free PDF of Hero Soul. Let your voice be heard. If you don't like a rule or something, or you want to see something change, I want to hear from you. The system is basically D&D 5e with some optional rules and different ways of take, so people can actually have a clear-cut way of playing and not support WotC. I need help doing this. I'm a sole creator, so I would love to see you come in and support us. As always, like, subscribe, hit the button, and we'll see you when we will see you next time.